so far we've talked about MIG welding. That's metal inert gas welding. What that means is, metal means we have this electrode that's metal feeding out of the center, the wire. Inert gas, I talked about in the last video that in this instance I'm using 75-25 argon CO2 mix. There's another type of welding called flux core welding. Now what that means is that the wire itself is, like here's the wire, okay, and the end view of the wire, and it has a little bit of flux right in the center of that wire. They actually start with a flat sheet of really small metal and they wrap it around that flux, so they end up with a core of flux. And what it does is that as this metal wire is melting in the arc and filling in, that flux is burning. And a couple of things the flux does, actually it does a lot of things, but basically what it does is it creates a sort of a smoke or a gaseous envelope around the arc, protects the molten metal. Now, the reason I don't use flux core welding is very simple, is that flux core, as I said, creates smoke. And inside a shop like this, the smoke is a mess, unless you have a special vacuum system called a smoke extractor that takes that from where you're welding and sucks it outside, because it's hazardous to breathe that smoke. That's number one. Number two is that flux core leaves the flux behind on top of your weld, and it has to be cleaned off before you can paint or before you can do another bead or another piece of weld over the top of that. So that's why I don't use flux core welding. And in these videos we're going to be focusing entirely on MIG welding, metal inert gas welding. Now in the next video we're going to be talking a little bit more about the tip of the gun here and how it works, what it's made of.